Okay, welcome everybody. Let me know that you can hear my voice if you'd be kind enough and that you could see the opening screen. And we're going to get started right now. So just give me a heads up. Obviously, if you can't hear me, you're not going to give me a heads up. So somebody type in that you can hear me. I could see my mic is working. So anybody, somebody type in. Okay, very good. Thank you, sir. All right. It's been a long day. We had quite a few trade rooms this morning, and I want to talk about my two favorite news trading setups. Make an appointment with the futures market. My name is Lee Goldstein, the trading director at 10 Minute Trades. I'm in my office. A little bit different looking than that picture, but still the same person getting ready for this webinar. I'm looking forward to teaching you something great. Okay, please remember all the trades that we talk about, it is possible to lose money trading futures. I'm not a financial advisor, so please trade carefully. Just keep that in mind. And just before I get into the exact meat and potatoes of the webinar, I always go over, because there's always new people in these webinars that don't know who we are, what we do. So we just want to do a brief recap of what our concept is for trading. And we trade appointment-based trading, ABT. We use NinjaTrader and we trade futures. So it's very important to keep that in mind. We're not trading stocks, we're trading futures. And earnings season is coming up. Just a reminder to some of the folks that are here that know us, earnings season is coming up. Netflix will be pretty soon, and then we really get heated up for some great earnings trades. So we're looking forward to that. And earnings trades are a big part of what we do here at 10 Minute Trades. We don't trade the stocks, and that's the beauty of it. We found a great way to trade futures on earnings. We have a system, all right? We have our News Trader software, used to be JOBB. We're rebranding it, now calling it News Trader. And there's 5 elements that make up our news trading system. And it's event trading. It's not always about the news. You can use our software if you want to for discretionary trading. You don't have to trade news at all. You could be any prop trader, cash trader. You could use our software just to help you to trade. And I'll get into that in a moment. Our system has 5 major pieces that all make up our pro membership. The WMM Weekly Market Mover, that's essentially our weekly schedule. The DMM, we have trade reports on many of our events, not all of them though. There are quite a few events that we trade where if you don't come into the trade room, you're just going to be out of luck. You're going to miss some great events that don't have reports. And it just is the way it is. Some events we don't have reports for. Trade room access, of course, is critical, I believe, to learning the system. You don't have to stay in the trade room forever, but when you first get started, you should plan on spending a few months in the trade room, going over how to use the software, why we choose the setups that we choose, why we don't trade reports that we don't trade. Please don't ask me what our success rate is on all our reports. We don't lump them all together. We don't trade every report. The right question is, what's your success rate on Amazon earnings? What's your success rate on trading gold magnets at 8:20 in the morning? You follow? There are events that we trade. Each event has a success rate. What's the oil report doing these days at 10:30? That's the right question. We don't recommend that people trade every news event because some news events are underperforming, meaning it's really hard to find a setup for some events. They may be inconsistent. The beauty of the setups that I like is we choose the setups that are consistent. They trade in a similar manner month in, month out, so we can have a setup for them. And then our 4th element is our News Trader software, and then the Magnet Trader MagnaTrade software is the fifth element. Now, in reality, what our software is a collection of strategies. We have three strategies that make up our software: the news trader strategy, the trap trade strategy, and the magnet trade strategy. Those three strategies are our software suite. Getting back to the five elements, the WMM is the weekly market mover. That's a weekly schedule. Our weekly schedule has a lot of information packed into it. And you know what? Why don't I just show you this week's schedule? It's a little bit more current. So this is our schedule for this week. And our schedule has, like I said, a lot of good info on it. First off, it has the time of the event that we're trading. It's got, if we have a trade room, it has the time the trade room opens. Of course, it's got the name of the event, the instrument we're considering trading, and everything is subject to decision making in the trade room at the exact moment of the news. And also what instrument, the risk, whether or not we have a daily trade report for that event, and also, are we streaming on YouTube? So it just gives you an idea which reports will be streaming on YouTube. Then we have a little bit of information. Some events are called watch events. For instance, we have a Lululemon earnings trade room this afternoon. So it's a watch. What that means is it could mean a couple of different things. It could mean it's just an event we're going to watch to see how it performs. Maybe we've never even looked at it before. Lulu fits that bill. Never looked at it before. It tends to fit our profile of companies that may have a good earnings trade. So we decided let's teach our new members about earnings because earnings season is coming up very shortly, a couple of weeks. So we have a watch on that event. We may not trade it with real money. We may trade it with micros. Watch might also be an event that used to be great and it's not performing well, so we have our eye on it to see what's going on. Or it might be a brand new event that we're keeping an eye on as well, that we have a lot of optimism is going to be a new trade report coming up. So the watch just gives you a heads up that it may not be a typical event. There might be more info surrounding it. And then we have EDU. EDU trade rooms are educational trade rooms, particularly based around reports that we used to trade with real money. And they have definitely fallen out of favor, stopped performing well, but they still are events that we keep track of. We might still have daily, trade reports for them, but we're not recommending that members trade them at the current time because their performance is lackluster. But there's a lot of education you can do in a trade room with a report that you don't trade. And that is the key to learning our system. If you come into the trade room, spend some time with us, it will absolutely help you to get better at trading news events. So that's element number one. Element number two are the daily market movers. When we have an event, we create a trade report for most of them, and the trade report in the middle has a mini journal. How are the last 6 or 7 times that we traded it? What's some of the history up top above the journal? How many ticks has it been moving? The yellow line has been the setup that we've been using to trade it. And then there's text about the event. And then sometimes there's another setup. There might be more than one setup for the same event. You could have multiple instruments that move on the same news. So you could have 2 different setups for the same event. How do you decide which setup to trade? Sometimes we trade them both, but the key to everything that we do is testing. We look at every event over and over and over again. We look at the previous events, we record them, we study them, we play them back in the trade room so that we have an idea what to expect when the event takes place. And like we said in the beginning, the consistent events are the events that we trade. And then if you noticed on the weekly schedule, there's something called family money. Family money trades are the best of the best reports. Those we recommend everybody trade them because that means we would trade our own family's money with those events. They're really performing well. We're making profits on those reports on a regular basis, and they are what we call family money trades. They are the top tier almost always of what we are currently trading. And usually there's at least a couple of family money trades each week. You could see this particular week had 4. Third element is the NewsTrader software. It's a custom strategy add-on to NinjaTrader. So what does that mean? That means it installs as if it were part of the platform. That's the beauty of NinjaTrader, and that's why so many companies choose NinjaTrader as the platform that they use. When you install our software, it literally becomes integrated into the platform, and that makes it much easier to deal with. It's a custom strategy. It has multiple setups. I'll show you what I mean. It automates if you want to. It can automate some of your trade entries. It puts targets on the chart, your stops. We have trailing stops, multiple positions, combine orders, move your stop if a target gets hit, all sorts of features that the software does so that you don't have to learn any sort of internal platform programming language to make your software move the stops, trail the stops. Our software is much easier to use than learning the ATM programs, automated trade management programming, that most platforms have. So essentially, our software, we like to think of it as a super ATM program. It's an automated trade manager. And it has discretionary setups, setups that you decide when you want to enter, and automated setups and semi-automated. Semi-automated might mean, well, the brackets get placed on the charts, but you might manage your exit out of the trade. Not every trade immediately hits your targets and takes you out of the trade in 1 second. Sometimes a trade will fill you and then you have to manage it. So that's what we mean when we say semi-automated. It may put your brackets on the chart, brackets meaning price above the market at that moment, price below the market, and then when the market moves, it fills us and puts us in the trade. Let me show you what I mean when I say something like that. So we trade NVIDIA earnings often, and NVIDIA has been an excellent trade. Our software puts these little X's on the chart, and those X's are the orders. When the news comes out, when NVIDIA releases their earnings, and we trade the NQ on NVIDIA earnings, watch what happens. The earnings are going to come out. The NQ is going to explode in one direction or the other. It's going to go through those X's and create a trade that puts us in the market. So boom, the price went short. You could even see that we look at the stock price. Everything exploded down in that NVIDIA trade. We made like $1,000 on that trade in less than 8 seconds. That was a fantastic NVIDIA earnings trade. That's what I mean when I say a bracket trade, a breakout trade. NVIDIA is a breakout. And we're not really spending a lot of time today on breakouts. Today, we're going to talk about my 2 favorite setups, the trap trade and the magnet trade. Why do I like these setups? Well, it's really very simple. We're in extreme volatility, all right? So just a couple of more updates here. Don't forget that the appointment-based trading method is simple and it's a time-based approach. We trade on a schedule. In other words, 9 times out of 10, we go into the trade room at a specific time and we know exactly what we're going to do, when we're going to do it. The magnet is a little bit different, but we know what the best times are to trade the magnet. With appointment-based trading, you can schedule your trades specific days, specific times, up to a month in advance. And appointment-based trading, news trading, no matter what anyone says, if you have the right tools, it's no riskier than any other form of trading. Why do I love appointment-based trading? Because I hate being in the market all day. I don't want to sit in front of my charts all day. The less I trade, the more I make. Trading is boring. I want to trade when I know the market's going to move, and that's what ABT, appointment-based trading, allows us to do. And then finally, what actually triggers an appointment-based trade so we can make a schedule and be certain the market's going to move. High impact economic reports, GDP, jobs reports, tweets, if you know when they're coming, big company earnings reports, Apple earnings, Nvidia earnings, Amazon earnings, United Health earnings, market open and closes, gold open, oil open, market open and closes, always good times to trade around them. All of those three categories create hundreds of trade triggers that you could pick to fit your schedule. The key is use the calendars to find the trades. What do I mean by calendars? Forex Factory, investing.com, tradingeconomics.com. These calendars all show you dozens and dozens of events that you can learn from us in the beginning, learn how we go through these events and pick the best ones to trade. Forexfactory.com, investing.com, tradingeconomics.com. You've heard of Akana Day, Financial Juice, lots of good calendar programs that you can choose the events to help you trade, and they will allow you to find these events. Those are triggers, okay? So, why do I love magnets? Why do I love the trap trade? I think we're going to do the trap trade first. So look, these markets are ultra volatile right now. You've got a government that's very chaotic. They govern by tweet. You've got all sorts of things going on that haven't been going on previously, creating strong volatility in the market. So breakouts are tougher to trade. Trap trades, which is the first style of trade I want to talk about, is a specialized reversal trade. So this morning we had a setup for GDP. Now, I test every trade over and over and over. In order to know what kind of setup we're going to have on an event, we have to test that event. So we look at the event over the course of many months. With a trap trade, and I've never really talked about this in a webinar, but the key to finding out which is the best trap trade are to find the events clearly that reverse, because the trap trade is a reversal. Not only do you need the event to reverse, but you need the event to reverse in a way that is predictable month after month after month. So we create a DMM, a trade report, right? When we have a trap trade, I'll show you exactly what we did today. So to get ready for today's trade, yesterday we sent our members the GDP DMM, which also had other events on it because we had more than one trade event today. But the key to today's trading clearly was going to be GDP. It's a very important trade. It definitely moves the markets almost always when it's released, and we have a setup for it. Our setup is a trap trade, and a trap trade is not complicated. It has the market we're going to trade, and today was actually gold rollover, and we realized in the room that the volume on gold 625 was higher than 425. So we traded the newer contract. Okay. And then we also have the time that we put our orders on the chart. We call that the activation time. And then we have what we call our tiers. And our tiers are just brackets that are above the current price and below the current price. And we have two tiers above, two tiers below the current price, and a stop. And the way a trap trade works is if the price goes up, we sell the market if it goes through the tiers. If the price goes down, we buy the market if it goes through the tiers to the downside. So it's a trade that we feel really strongly that we're going to have a change in direction the moment the news is released. It's not a week after or an hour after or 10 minutes after. It's going to be pretty quickly after the news is released. We're expecting a tradable reversal, which gives us our profit because we enter in the opposite direction that the market moves. Let me show you what happened this morning when we traded GDP. And then I'll show you why I believe it did what it did. So let me find today's GDP trade. Yesterday, we sent our members the DMM. They had it the day in advance. So when they got to the trade room, there was no gigantic surprise about what should happen in the trade room on the GDP report. So we're getting to the time of the event. 5 seconds before the news is released, our orders are going to show up on the chart. Watch, they're going to show up right now. Here come our orders. Now the news comes out. It shot up, filled me short in an instant. And what happened today was, if you notice, we have two orders above and below the price. Not just one, we have two. Now, unfortunately, sometimes videos don't let me show you the exact second. So give me a second and I'll stop the video so I could show you exactly what I'm talking about. Right before the news was released, our software put two orders above the price, two orders below, and an emergency stop above and below. What's going to happen is the price shoots up, but it only fills the first order and then it reverses. We like to move our stop to safety. So we have a method that removes the order that isn't filled and lets us move our stop to safety, and then we trail short to make our profit. Price shot up, market put us in short, we trailed, and we made almost $400 on that trade in about a minute. The price shot up, we're reversing, I'm moving my stop to safety after canceling that extra order. And now I'm just trailing in a safe, profitable manner. No matter what happens here, I've got a profitable trade because I was able to move my stop to safety almost within 5 seconds. That's very fast. It was a great trade. We have had quite a few great ones like that over the past 2 weeks because these markets are very volatile. Even though the ES looked like it had a really good breakout trade, a trade in one direction, we chose to trade gold on this report because that's what we've been studying, that's what we've been testing, and that's what we've been successfully trading for a profit months in advance of today. When I got to that trade room this morning, I couldn't wait to trade the trap trade on this setup because it had been working really, really well. And to be honest, I made a big mistake by not calling this a family money trade. This is a family money trade. And next month it will note that on the weekly schedule because it's been making money almost every month that we trade it for the past 5 months. When it was over, like I said, my profit was almost $400 and it was less than 2 minutes of trading. Anybody in the trade room that traded it with me made money on that trade. Our setup was great, but there is a key part of the setup that we've never explained, never shown in a webinar before, and it's the way that you can set up your own trap trades. If you understand the concept of creating a simple spike sheet, you can create your own trap trade. So here's the deal. Let me show you our spike sheet. Every month, we just simply look, how far did the news spike go? For the first minute or two, if it's all in the same direction, how big is that spike? Then we notate that spike on our sheet. It's so simple. This whole concept is really so simple. In February, the GDP report spiked 28 ticks. In January, it spiked 36. In December, it spiked 23. November, it spiked 24. We also had no reversal in November. We keep that in mind. October, it spiked 27. Do you see the consistency here in the spikes? That allows us to set up two orders between 25 and 40 ticks with a stop of 20 to 25 ticks, as long as we don't spike more than 60 ticks. The second tier, the second bracket was 40, plus the stop, 60 ticks. We would be safe. It wouldn't guarantee a profit, but we would be safe from being stopped out when the news is released. Then we study these reports, so we watch reversal after reversal every month. And we notice, of course, that it reverses, so we could set up a trap trade. We create the spike sheet. You can take the average of the spikes over the last 5 months, and that's how you create your tiers. So let me just be a little bit clearer about what I mean. I'm going to exit my slides for a second. This is NinjaTrader, the platform. Let me put gold on. Gold is through the roof bullish these days. It's unbelievable. I just can't believe it. It's up $46 today. Unbelievable. So if we go to the time of the event that we traded this morning, that was an 8:30 a.m. event. Okay? And it's not complicated to do this. There is a tool in NinjaTrader. There's a lot of great free tools in NinjaTrader that help you to trade anything you're trading, whether it be news or discretionary trading. But if you notice, right at 8:30, right here, we have this red candle, and that's our news candle. This candle here was our news spike, okay? And if you notice, this candle is not very big, okay? It's not so big that it could have spiked us out of our stop, all right? If you just measure, what you would do is you would watch where the price was when the news was released, okay? And you take the ruler up top here, click ruler and then ruler, put your cursor at the point where the candle started moving, and then just trail it to where the candle stopped moving. And we had a 28 tick spike approximately over the first 2 minutes in one direction. Well within our safety level for this trade. So next month, when we go and look at what happened when the news was released, we only had about a 24 to 26 tick spike this morning, and that was perfectly in line with what we expected from this report. It only filled one tier. We're not going to shrink our tiers much more because these markets are so volatile. You want to have a little bit of safety so that if your spike is a little bigger one month, you don't get stopped out because you're being too aggressive on the size of your spike tiers. So if you go through the various events that you want to trade, the months it trades, and measure the spikes, you can create your own trap trades on any event that moves enough to create a trade. If something only moves 4 or 5 ticks on news, it's not tradable. But if you get a 20 tick move, a 30 tick move, a 26 tick move, then you have a potential spike sheet to create, and you have yourself a design your own trade scenario. I love the trap trade. When I looked at GDP in January, I saw a trade that was reversing. When I looked at GDP in February, I actually ran a replay on it because I didn't have the original video. We had another month. It burst up in February, pulled right back down. It was an awesome trade in February. We made over $600 on the spike reversal trap trade GDP. That's why when I got to the room this morning, I couldn't wait to trade it. I was really looking forward to it. That is a trap trade. When we traded the FOMC statement last week or the week before, whenever the heck it was, there's so many trades I can't keep track of the weeks anymore. We had a breakout for the NQ, and we also had an ES trap trade that has been testing as a winner for almost 2 years. What trade do you think I traded in the trade room? A risky, whippy NQ breakout that happened to work on this particular trade. It was March 19th. No, I traded the ES in my prop account, by the way. You can trade in a prop account or a cash account. A lot of prop companies allow news trading these days. Immediately, it was an instant fill when the FOMC released their news, and it was an instant reversal. It was a phenomenal trade. $600, $700, $880, I think we made on that trade. It was spectacular. FOMC statement. Then we also had the JOLTS report. The JOLTS report, the trade I should have taken but didn't. This is an example of an event that has been performing very poorly. So we didn't trade it. We tested it in the trade room, and it had a phenomenal ES trap trade because that's our test right now. It filled both orders on the ES, and then it did a spectacular reversal. We cried for a day that we didn't take that trade. It just exploded to the top. It would have been like a $1,700 trade. But that's how you learn what are the best ones to trade. Sometimes you've got to test before you trade so that you're sure that your testing is valid. That's just part of how the system works. All right? Any questions about the trap trade and why it's clearly one of my favorite setups? I love trap trades. And I don't worry if I'm in a trap trade and it hasn't reversed. Almost always the ones that we choose to reverse, they reverse. Month after month after month, we get confirmation of those reversals because we're not studying Elliott waves. Nobody knows where those waves start and end. Even Elliott doesn't know where those waves are. He just likes selling indicators. We watch the events and we trade the probability of how that event is going to behave. It's a really interesting way to trade. Yes, we still have some indicators we use. We like to use highs and lows, pivots. There absolutely are some indicators we use. But look at my charts. They're really clean and simple and uncomplicated, and that's how we like to trade. And that brings us to our next slide. Why do I love magnets? What is a magnet? What is a magnet? Just a reminder, trade in a prop account. Why do I love magnets? Let's get back to the charts. First, let me show you a magnet. Now, you know what? Let me show you the charts first. So when we teach our members what to do, we help them to set up their charts. It takes literally 8 minutes to set your charts up so they look exactly like mine. You just go to New, you go to Chart, choose, for instance, everyone loves to trade gold. All right. Make sure you're on either a 30-second or a 1-minute chart. That's how we like to trade. All right. So for now, it's 30-second. Trading hours, use instrument settings. Days to load, no more than 3. Basically, choose new chart. Choose a current instrument. That would be gold 625. You don't even have to change anything. It almost always comes up with all the defaults that we use. Okay it. Now I have a brand new chart and I can easily let me fix that. It's it always happens in every webinar. The stupidest thing that ever happened that never happened before, it's going to happen to you in a webinar because you're in front of people. New, choose chart. I'm going to choose gold. I'm telling you, it's like unbelievable. We're just going to choose all the defaults and I'm going to okay it, but I'm just going to make sure I'm not loading more than 3 days, and I want to make sure my trading hours are on use instrument settings. Okay it. Now when I bring my chart in, it'll be correct. To set up your charts the way that we do, literally it takes less than 8 minutes. I'm just going to right click the chart, click on properties, make a bigger right margin so the price isn't right on the margin. And then we're going to add the pivots, indicators. We're going to add the pivots. They're free, NinjaTrader pivots. Just double click, okay it. Now I've got pivots on the chart. There they are. Now I'm going to right click, click indicators. I'm going to add net change display, which is a phenomenal indicator that shows us whether an instrument is bullish or bearish. Double click it. Unit of measure, I'm going to put it right now on ticks for the moment, and I'm going to put the location of this indicator on the bottom right, apply it and okay it. And now I get a little number on a live chart. Gold, you'll see it's 456 ticks. Gold I like to look at in points. So we'll go back to indicator, net change display, put gold in points. And you're going to see gold is up 46 points. A point is $1. So gold is like through the roof, $46. Once it calculates, then it gives you the money. Then I'm going to add also indicator. I'm going to add my favorite, best, most important indicator, current high low, open high low, current day OHL. Double click it. Don't do anything except put it on your chart. Apply it and okay it. You don't even have to apply it. Okay it. Now I've got highs and lows on my chart. I've got pivots on my chart. I'm going to add the VWAP. All right. I'm going to put my chart on 1 minute because I like 1 minute during the day, this time of day. And I'm almost completely set. Put the chart trader on the chart. That's this icon right here. Turn on chart trader. All right. That lets you enter the market if you're not using our software. And I'm going to also add the VWAP. The VWAP, if you're a lifetime NinjaTrader customer, is free. If you're not, we have a free VWAP from NinjaTrader for you that's exactly the same. So for the VWAP, you're going to go to Order Flow VWAP, click it, double click it. Then you're going to go to Standard Deviation Bands, make it none. So the VWAP is a line. Apply it, okay it. Now we've got our best friend, the VWAP. We've got our highs of the days. Our red line is the low of the day. We've got our pivots, and we've got a complete trading system for trading magnets. Those levels are magnets. Magnets are price levels on charts that every instrument has and uses. The magnets are great exit areas. And why are they great exit areas? Because millions of traders look at those magnets, the same magnets on the same time frames. So what happens is there's so many orders sitting around those magnets, just sucking the price into the levels, magnetizing your trade so that you can create an exit strategy when you get near the magnets. If you look at gold today, if we just scroll back, look how many times gold tested the high of the day. It tested it at 1140. It tested it at 10:40. It tested it at 8 o'clock. It tested it at 6:40. Okay? Those are magnets. Not every one of them would definitely be a successful trade. I'm just trying to show you magnets attract price. Here's the VWAP being tested at 9:20. Great time to trade magnets around market open and closes. Okay? Magnets, again, are popular areas on the chart that everybody is looking at. Not everybody, but dozens and dozens, thousands of traders are looking at. So they attract price, they create predictable exit behavior, and we can create a strategy software around those magnets. So we created the magnet software. Why do I love magnets? Here's a gold magnet trade. How does it work? Our software puts an order on the chart and it gets pulled into the price, the high of the day or the low of the day, and that area is our exit. So here I am, I'm getting ready to put the magnet on. Actually, I think I did this one manually to show everybody the concept of what a magnet was. When we first designed the software, before we designed it, we used to do everything manually. And you notice I'd have to put an order near the high of the day. I'd have to put my stop on. It was a pain in the neck to do that. I'd rather get it automated with our software. But watch what happens. Price is going to get pulled into the high of the day. Gold is trending up. The magnet is the exit. And we program an exit. Watch, watch. There it is. Magnet trade. That's how we designed the magnet. We saw this behavior happening over and over in the markets, hitting the highs constantly over and over. Here's a real gold trade, magnet. Our software can be 100% automated or somewhat discretionary in that you can move your entries where you want to get filled. You can also enter a magnet trade early, enter now button before it hits your entry. In some cases, the market will start selling so strongly in the direction of the magnet, you may not want to wait for your fill. You might want to enter the magnet trade early. So we have an enter now button, which is a fantastic feature. Watch the magnet take place here. The thick line is our entry. The low of the day is our sell. I'm entered automatically because if you notice, the magnet was purple. The automatic magnet entry button was purple. That was an automatic entry. Automatically puts my target 3 ticks before the exit. I can change that, of course. And then it chopped a little bit. We watched, we talked, combed my hair, I brushed my teeth. Boom, hits the magnet, profit trade. That is a magnet trade. What we've done with the magnet software, we've created an almost automated system for trading the high and low, but we also recognize that people love their own indicators and they want to use magnets as their own for their own indicators. You might have a custom indicator that uses levels that you see getting hit all the time. So you can use our magnet software to create a custom magnet. The magnet trade software has the high of day, low of day system built in. I don't have to do anything to set up a trade except choose a proximity to the magnet. So we're just going to make it a 10% proximity. I've got a fill 3 ticks before the high, and I'm just one position and a 20 tick stop. That's my default. All I have to do is apply it, okay it, turn on the magnet, and now you'll notice my magnet entry was way too low. And that's because I didn't really set this up the way I normally would. If it does something like that, you go back in, just make the proximity very small. Make it a 3 if it puts an order on the wrong side of price. I want to get filled long, so I don't want anything down below me. So I can deal with that in a couple of ways. I can make the proximity very small. Now, see how it's in the right area? I can also choose to turn off long or short. If I only want to go long, I turn off my short. And if I want this to enter at that thick line for an exit at the high, I can turn it on automatic by making it purple. When price gets to that line, it'll fill the trade. Or I could watch and wait. When it gets to that level, it will make a sound. If I'm doing something else, I could zip over to that chart, turn on the trade, and it'll enter. Or I could be watching the magnet trade, and I could say, wow, look at gold. It's so bullish. I want to go in now, and I could press the Enter Now button, and I'm in a long trade heading towards the high of the day. That's a very simple concept of the high of day, low of day magnet trade. The custom trade, let's say you want to trade an R3 magnet. Let's see what's above us also, because price actually is moving up. But let's say you want to trade an R3 magnet. You can create a custom magnet trade around any level. So instead of using high of day, low of day, you would use custom level. Remember, the magnet is our exit. The easiest way to do things with the magnet, just type in your magnet location, 3092.60. So all I type in is 3092.60. I've got a one position trade. Maybe I'll go for 20 tick target. Maybe I'll do a 30 tick stop. Okay. I don't have to change anything else other than telling it what account to trade, apply it, okay it. Now watch what happens. When I enable it, it's just going to show us the entry, the thick line. Notice I can move that entry. If I want to get filled way before I get to the magnet, I could. I could move that entry all the way up. When you do a custom magnet, if I know it's a short, I turn off my long, okay? If I want it to be an automatic custom level, I just turn on the auto button and go away, wait for the sound, and then I just watch it trade. But keep in mind, the R3 is the magnet. That's my exit. So I want to be filled before I get there. Get it? So you could move your fill roughly 20 ticks because we had a 20 tick target before the R3, and you have a simple to do custom magnet trade. Supports any level on any chart that you want to trade. I love magnets because with all this volatility, with all the craziness that's going on in the markets, it's discretionary if you want it to be. It's automatic if you want it to be. It's a great setup to trade around market opens, around market closes, around news. Phenomenal setup. Very kind of quiet setup. Not a lot of slippage. You're not dealing with a breakout at the last second. All right. That's why I love magnet trades. They're phenomenal for this market. Any questions? Do I have any questions? We've got two strategies that we love. We've got magnets. We've got breakouts. You can trade in a prop account. You can absolutely go long or short. It's up to you, whatever direction you want to trade. I could show you dozens and dozens and dozens of trades. I'm not going to do that today. I think a lot of you have seen our webinars. I've got hundreds of screenshots from our members. This was an earnings trade by Ravi in Switzerland. He made over $900 on Amazon. Earnings are just a few weeks away. That's a great way that you could trade with us in addition to magnets and traps. But here's the deal for today. How would you like to join me and us for all of our future trade rooms? News Trader software included, every setup included, daily market mover trade reports included, weekly schedule included, pro trade room access included, trap trade software included, magnet trade software included, trade in a prop account, trade your cash account, $20.25 for 30 days. This deal expires tomorrow. www.gopro25.com. Join us. It's unbelievably reasonable to learn all about what we do, learn these setups, see if you have the interest and the enjoyment and the profits for trading the way that we trade. Okay? You can't go wrong. You got nothing to lose. All of our earnings sessions are going to be included. Earnings, like I said, are getting closer every day. Family money trades, breakouts, magnets, range trades, oil reports, job reports. I will teach you in the trade rooms how to set up the software. We do it every day, sometimes multiple times a day. We go over the same things over and over so you could learn how to do it. Everything included that we offer as a pro member: News Trader software, magnet software, trap trade software, daily market movers, trade room access, earnings trade rooms, everything. www.gopro25.com. The trial's going to expire tomorrow at midnight. Just please do me one favor. If you already took the trial, you're not allowed to take it again. You have to join for $97 a month. That's all it costs when the trial expires. It's an auto bill. All you have to do to cancel is just send an email to help@10minutetrades.com. In fact, I'm going to put that email in. So if you have any questions, you can email me and I will answer and get back to you. Help@10minutetrades.com. So if there's any questions, folks, I hope you enjoyed the webinar. Two great setups. Our members love us. They make money trading earnings with us. Every now and then, they're nice enough to send us written testimonials, which is pretty rare in this day and age. Sander, who's in this room right now, he comes to a lot of these webinars, always thanks us when he makes money. And of course, when you don't make money, when you have a few bad days, the key is to figure out what went wrong, correct it, and keep going. And that's what he said. He thanked us for sticking with things. He had a couple of bad days and then made his money back the next couple of days. So you want to get the Magnet Trade, the trading room, the News Trader software, a teacher who cares, $20.25. Expires tomorrow. This is the last push. GoPro25.com, and you need the www. So I don't see any other questions, folks. Anybody have any last questions? If not, thanks for joining our weekly webinar. We try to do it every Thursday at noon. Sometimes, we have a trade room, so we have to change the time, but we'll have a webinar every single week. We're doing and teaching something very important that helps you to trade events or trade discretionary with our Magnet software. You don't have to be a news trader to use the Magnet software. And we do have a basic membership also for only $47 a month that includes the Magnet software and all of our daily market trade reports. That's just $47 a month if you don't want to trade breakouts and the trap trade. So we have a setup, we have a subscription for any way that you want to trade with us. So thanks, everyone. I'll see you in the trade room, and I hope you enjoyed the webinar. Take care. See you soon.